You are a nurse in Lisbon. You earn €1,400 a month. Your parents finished school, the first in the family to do so. Your grandparents couldn't read. 3 generations of progress, and you still can't afford the city you grew up in. That is not bad luck. That is by design. This is money memory. The past is still running. This is not a story about politicians. Portugal's system did exactly what it was designed to do. It protected insiders, deferred hard choices, and let the bill accumulate, decade by decade, until the bill came due. This is the first mechanism, the inherited deficit. 1933. Antonio de Oliveira Salazar takes control of Portugal. He is not a general, he is an economist. He balances the budget, and he makes a decision that will outlast him by generations. He tells his biographer, "It is more urgent to build great elites than to teach the people to read. It is not a slip, it is policy." By the time the regime falls in the Carnation Revolution of 1974, Portugal has the lowest literacy rate in Western Europe. When the country joins the European Economic Community in 1986, fewer than 20% of working-age adults have completed secondary school. The European average is already near 60%. 41 years of deliberate underinvestment. And that does not disappear when the dictator dies. It compounds. Capital flows in when Portugal enters the single market. Interest rates fall to German levels. Credit becomes cheap. Between 2000 and 2007, households and firms borrow heavily. The money does not go to export industries or technology. It goes to construction, to hotels, to sectors that cannot compete abroad. Productivity flatlines. By 2009, Portugal's current account deficit exceeds 10% of GDP. When the financial crisis hits, the financing stops. Bond yields double, then triple. By spring 2011, the country can no longer borrow. The IMF, the European Commission, and the European Central Bank approve a €78 billion bailout. In exchange, austerity, wage cuts, pension reductions. Unemployment peaks at nearly 17%. Among young workers, it approaches 40%. And the exits begin. But this was only the first layer. This is the second mechanism. The paradox of the solution. Portugal needs capital. In October 2012, the government launches the Golden Visa. Foreign investor buys real estate above €500,000. Investor receives residency. Country receives cash. By the end of 2023, over €7 billion have flowed in. Decayed buildings in Lisbon are renovated. Unemployment falls below 7%. The numbers supported the model for a while. But 88% of that $7 billion went into real estate, not into factories, not into research, not into export-capable industries, into property, into the same fixed asset that a local teacher or healthcare worker also needed to rent. An American remote worker in Lisbon sees €1,500 a month and calls it a bargain. That same rent costs the local nurse 100% of her take-home pay. The market does not see the difference. It sees only the highest bid. Between 2015 and 2024, house prices rose more than 120%. Average salaries over the same period, up 33%. The market recalibrated around foreign purchasing power. Local demand dropped off the margin. The process had become automatic. By 2023, real estate is removed from Golden Visa qualifying criteria. The capital shifts. The housing crisis does not reverse. This is where the pattern becomes a trap. Your salary, your savings, your future, not abstract anymore. The same mechanism that attracted foreign capital made the country unworkable for the people it had just finished educating. €7 billion went into property, not into the industries that could have employed them, not into the sectors that could have kept them. By 2024, 30% of Portuguese between 15 and 39 live permanently abroad. 850,000 people. Everyone takes the public investment in their education with them. The system no longer required decisions. It's subtracted mechanically. That is when the question stops being abstract and starts being personal. And if this sounds familiar, it should. Argentina opened its economy to foreign capital between 1991 and 2001. The money arrived. Asset prices rose. The underlying economy did not adapt. When the flows reversed, unemployment hit 20%, and the government froze bank accounts. The mechanism is identical. Only the names change. So what should you take away from this? First, cheap credit cannot substitute for structural investment in people. The money came, the engineers left. Second, when a country spends 4 decades deliberately keeping its population undereducated, the damage does not heal in 1 generation. Third, when housing consumes the income of the workers who build the economy, those workers do not stay. They are not failing. The system is failing them. Over 7 billion euros flowed in through the Golden Visa. Lisbon became one of the most photographed cities in Europe, and 30% of the generation that was supposed to inherit it left. The model was called a recovery. For some, it was. For the generation that built it, it was the invoice. Money memory. Subscribe. So the past stops surprising you.